Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports.
Are you really doing season 4 of that stupid podcast?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of season 4 of Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.
2023!
Thank you all for joining us today. We are going to start the show off by playing a song, and there was a bunch of people that voted for this song, and one person, Liz Adams, spent a lot of time trying to make sure that her team's song was played as the intro to Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, and that's for the Gamecocks, baby. So let's go ahead and get that going now. Good job. So that was 2001 Space Odyssey. I think every so often throughout the season what I'm going to do is have a little vote to see whose team's song is going to be on the intro. So if you want your team's song on the intro, join the Facebook group so you can vote. And then you could also make sure that you invite your friends that are fans of the team that you are a fan of. For example, my man Chief here is a North Carolina fan, but he's also a Clemson fan, so he might be petitioning for one of those teams. But that means invite your friends who are fans of that team, and then maybe you'll have a shot. And then the other thing I did to start the season off right, season 4, episode 1, I put together a little mashup. What I did is I had everyone, I sent out a link for everyone to send me a recording of themselves, kind of like boosting up their football team. We got a few NFL people in there, but mostly college football stuff in there. So we're going to go ahead and play that one right now for you as well.
Are you ready for another season of Guys at the Bar Talking Sports? Let's go! Go Dogs! Sick 'em! Woof, 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 woof! Go, fight, win, kick ass, go Gamecocks! Woo pig suey, go Hogs! Go Big Blue. Let's go Orange and go Cox. Go Blue. Oh yeah. Go Giants. Yeah. Let's go Mountaineers. Rock your lotta, rock, rock your lotta, rock, rock your lotta, go to hell, dude.
And that was the mashup. Nobody here at the table has heard it because it was pre-recorded. So y'all get to hear it when the people that listen hear it, and that is going to be when you re-listen to the show when we post that thing in about 45 minutes when we're done with the show. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into Season 4, Episode 1. We have talked about the contracts. We've got a few people that have signed their contract for Season 4, and those people are here. We're still kind of negotiating with my man, the Chief, but we got him here. He's drinking some water with a lemon. So what does that mean, Chief? What's going on?
Clemson fans.
So Chief was not on the show last season because I think he's an early to bed kind of guy. But we're gonna kind of keep him. I'm gonna give him so much crap for this throughout the season if he keeps showing up. And he might not keep showing up.
His
if I
face
keep giving him
right
so
now
much
is
crap,
like
right?
very inappropriate, but he's keeping it to himself, and I love it.
He is. How you doing, Chief? What are you drinking there, my man?
Ice cold water.
Oh, Lord.
This guy
It's
used
hot
to.
outside. It's hydration is the key.
It is 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
This guy used to bring his own ginger beer, though.
Yeah, he sure did, and he gave me the link. It's delicious.
Is it? All right. Another contract is signed. We got my man, the Rebel.
What's
signed for at least, I think he was a free agent, but we managed to get him back.
No,
On
man.
the show.
After last year, like I had a contract year.
Yep.
And so you read me up and you paid me well. And so here I am. I mean, I'm
he is.
in. I mean,
Yep.
I'm in the franchise tag, but I do what I got to do.
This is a guy that can hang out at MJ's from 4 o'clock till now.
3, get it right.
3 o'clock till now. So
Glad I
So-
made it better.
the goal will be to keep my man, the Rebel, on track tonight.
He is hydrated.
That's the plan.
I'm hydrated. No, we're going to be all right.
His liver is hydrated.
What do you
Look, man. My daughter, I have to drop her off at school tomorrow. And I took her to lunch today. And so we're a little bit in the fields, but we're going to have a good time talking about sports to distract me for the night.
That's my man right there. All right.
First kid in college is the toughest one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Contract signed with the Rooster. Now I don't know how we got this to happen. I don't know. Like as of a week ago,
You brought him
this guy
bourbon.
may not have come, and then all of a sudden he's like, "I think I'm coming." So I don't know.
Thank God it's a family show.
It's a family show. He might not come, and now he's gonna
Like,
come.
I mean,
don't
you
know.
guys are paying me the league minimum.
That's what he
I'm
said.
here.
Yeah,
I'm participating.
He's just glad to make the roster, son.
That's it. That's it.
And we got Who's Your Daddy?
Unrestricted free agent. Who knows?
He may or may not show up to the shows. He gets paid as we go throughout the season.
Yeah, real high too. I mean, I really get paid. It sort of affects my income tax at the end of the year.
I know. I mean, you gotta watch out when you're trying to file that away, right? Make sure
Exactly.
that no one sees all that money you're making off of this show for sure. And then we have Cheeks, who
y'all.
somehow we get her to keep on coming back, even though it's a bunch of dudes and her.
Hey,
That's okay.
I'm the highest ranking member as of my picks last year.
That's true. Okay.
TCU and the Eagles.
You did choose TCU. That was pretty impressive. All right, so let's jump into this show. That's what we got to talk about.
What are we all
okay?
drinking?
Oh,
Forgot to ask everybody.
well, we don't
Beer.
beer.
We drink beer.
We drink beer.
We
And if
drink
you
beer.
want to buy us a beer,
There you go.
At Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo.
Yes.
Can't go wrong when you buy the Guys at the Bar Talking Sports a beer or a whiskey or whatever the heck they're drinking.
And we'll shout your name out.
So,
Yep.
season's 2 weeks away. We want to do some higher level conversations today about college football. We don't want to get into the weeds with, individual teams or what's going on week 1, nothing like that. What we're going to talk about today is just, some things that we usually talk about at the beginning of the season, like Heisman hopefuls. The top 25 came out yesterday for the AP top 25. So we know where they're going to rank in the beginning of the season and so forth. And I think I want to jump right into the top 25 on that and then move over to the Heisman hopefuls. I had Heisman going first.
Yeah, you're already changing the script, but let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm allowed to do that. I'm the host of the show.
Hey, league minimum. I'm just following along.
Basically do what I want to around
I'm just
here,
here for
right?
the NIL money.
Yeah, sure. So, and we're going to have a listener's question section of the show.
Next week.
No, we got it this week.
Oh, I love it.
I got a couple of them in there.
All right.
And a couple of them are just going to drop bombs on you they don't even know about.
Are you making a new Facebook
Y'all
account
know that
right now?
now,
to
right?
ask questions?
I am.
Yes, he's making a new Facebook.
All about the Syracuse Orangemen and the Gamecocks.
So if you're listening, you want to become you want to get some listener questions going. I just gotta.
Dude,
get on
that's like drinking gin and beer in the same drink.
What is?
The Orangemen and the Gamecocks.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like being a fan. When you drink it, your nose sours.
That's right. All right, so you know what? We will go with Heisman hopefuls. I will not throw you guys for a loop this week, okay?
You already changed your mind. I like it.
We're gonna go with the Heisman hopefuls, okay?
I got
'Cause that's
my
a
guy.
Good, to me, that's a good starting point. Now, these are the top 4 based upon the statistics that are coming out of Vegas, right? You got Jaden Daniels from LSU, number 4. Quinn Ewers from Texas, number 3.
Love the sound effect.
He doesn't stand a chance unless.
Do we have sound effect? Do we have a sound effect?
Now
for
we
it
do.
All right.
What was
As long
it?
as he
Texas
doesn't do it
hasn't
for
won a
mine.
championship in how long?
20 years.
And it's been that long since they've done it in Texas, or excuse me, Big
Big
12
12.
championship. Yeah. J.J. McCarthy, number 2 from Michigan. God.
I may throw beer at you.
Number one, we got Caleb Williams.
Let him go paint his fingernails. That's all he
my
needs to
man.
do.
I'm gonna need a beer from the account
I got
because
spit
I
all in it.
got
So literally,
And wait a minute, you left out number 5, Marvin Harris
okay, yeah, from
Jr. from the
They
Ohio
all
State Buckeyes.
trash.
Top 4.
They're all trash.
okay. So
He listed
well
5.
then,
He said
Mr.
top
Vocal about it. Who's your choice?
My
that's gonna-
prediction
your prediction
this year,
on the Heisman Trophy.
just because you got to keep in mind when it comes to the Heisman, they look at
This
results.
guy sits there and makes all this noise.
They
He's
do.
gonna have a crappy pick. I
They
guarantee.
do. No, look. So they look at results, whether you agree or disagree or whatever. They look at the results. They don't really care about the teams you're playing. They want flash. And my 2 Heisman picks, I'm going to give you 2, is either Hartman out of Wake Forest, they're both coming out of ACC, or Drake May out of North Carolina. The two,
Sam
one of those
Hartman's
two.
at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Sorry.
Yep.
So Notre Dame, Sam Hartman, because he's going to have some weapons that he didn't have
They're going to be
Wake
10
Forest.
2.
Or Drake May out of North Carolina, who was in the conversation until he crapped the bed against NC State last year. And again, their conference is trash.
And May was a freshman last
A
year.
freshman. Now he's a sophomore. All those guys, they've got all the publicity, but when it all starts to shake out, the 2 guys I just mentioned will be in a top 2 or 3 conversation.
So those 2 were both in the conversation last season as well.
And again, so Hartman was because he played for Wake Forest. I mean, there's never going to be a Heisman Trophy guy coming out of Wake Forest. And Drake May, because he was a freshman that had no defense to support the offense that he was putting on the board. That's the key.
So really, we'll know about Drake May after the first game.
After the first game, if he goes up there and takes South Carolina to the limit or beats them, all of a sudden his name will start to be said.
Well, let's not pump up the South Carolina defense too much. Last year they did let up some points. I don't know if you remember that or not. However, he stole my thunder a little bit because I do.
Rooster will do that to you sometimes.
Just
I'm not
sometimes.
Rooster.
I'm the Rooster.
Rooster, he'll do that to you sometimes. That's what I meant to say.
Ripper the Predictor talked about this in week 0, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
You've got a cannon of an armed quarterback. As a matter of fact, Chiefs should remember the game last year. Put up 55 points against North Carolina. The final score of that game was 58-55. As a matter of fact, his average scoring last year offense was 32 points a game. Okay, so I predict that with the line that the Irish have, if you remember last year, the Irish came in and bulldozed Clemson, by the way. He has that kind of talent with that around him in comparison to what he had last year, I believe that he's going to be in at least the top 2, if not the number 1.
So he will be at in New York.
He is a high caliber quarterback now with talent around him. That is a recipe for success, and we're going to talk about that in the rankings. I will also just.
So are you thinking Notre Dame has a chance?
We'll talk
to
about
go
that.
all the way?
We'll talk about that in the rankings, sir. Okay, stay on track.
Okay.
But
wow, are you telling the host what to do?
Let's talk about Marvin.
Did you take your ADD medicine?
Let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. The only reason that I don't pick him as high, by the way, Marvin Harrison Sr. was a Syracuse alum, one of the best receivers out of Syracuse, and Marvin Harrison Jr. did not go to Syracuse. He's dead to me. He's 10th in the polls.
10th in the poll. He's not.
New
but he
quarterback.
is-
Ohio State falls apart.
The problem
8-8
with
four
Marvin
season.
Harrison Jr. is you're a receiver. You got to have a guy to deliver the ball.
Yep.
That's the end of the conversation.
And Ohio State does not have the quarterback there to deliver the ball. Is
Not
that
what
you're
he
saying?
had.
What do you think about this, Hoosier Daddy?
Well, there's a lot of questions because it's a new quarterback. I mean,
Correct.
Regardless of what
But a
college you're
talent
talking
like
about.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is the type of talent that you can just lob it up and he can get it.
But that's the key is
And
he get
lob it up.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Georgia.
Unless you're playing Georgia. Yeah.
And we got,
from the peanut
We have the
gallery
Schooner
over there.
boner in the background.
We had some,
Being a boner.
If we had a field goal kicker, we wouldn't be talking about Georgia.
We have Georgia fans in the house.
We're gonna talk to the MJ's bouncers about getting that guy out of here.
Yes, exactly. That's proof that we are recording in a bar, and that's just not like fake background noise over there, right? When you got the Georgia fan, because we would never invite a Georgia fan onto the show. Okay? I'm kidding. He's been on the show before.
He's invited.
He's invited. Who's your daddy? So your thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr., but it looks like in your notes you have a few other people. What are your thoughts?
These notes are your notes.
Those are my notes. Okay,
So,
gotcha.
no,
but you threw
I
Marvin
think
Harrison
he's in the
on
mix.
there.
I do. I think he's in the mix.
Okay.
Again, it's going to be depending on how things start. It'll change by game 5 of whoever thinks is going to be at the top of the Heisman list. You look at game 5 and where teams are at. We never know. North Carolina gets blown out, and like we said earlier, their quarterback's going to drop.
Yeah, anything could happen,
A
right?
guy like Ewers from Texas, which I like Texas, and I know they haven't won anything in the past, but who knows?
Well, and
5 games.
is Arch Manning going to be throwing for him?
I think Quinn Ewers is going to get the job. And there's a little speculation going on right now between the two. It was literally a defensive, some defensive analyst from another team that was saying that Arch Manning might get the job. Like, that has no pull whatsoever on what's going on at that practice.
He's had a hard time understanding the college scheme. As smart as young man as he is, he has had a hard time adjusting. That's what's been said listening to some of the talk shows.
Quinn Ewers is going to be having that position. He has plenty of people around him. He has the opportunity to really make a standout season this season with
Texas
the
is
receivers
quickly
that he
becoming
has.
Notre Dame. I'm going to rank you high. I'm going to put all these expectations, and then you're going to highly disappoint 5-6 games into the year.
We're going to find out week 2.
Yes, you are.
We will find out week 2.
So here's the question I
Because
have.
Alabama comes to town.
And they smack them.
If Ewers does great, now I'm not saying even Heisman, but just say he leads Texas and they're having a great season. He's a sophomore. Does Arch Manning go in the portal?
No, they're paying him too much. He's making millions just sitting there, staying healthy, not playing. He does not care.
Yeah, but he's got to play at some
No,
point.
but he's got time. It's like, look, so we're going to digress for a hot
But
second.
Ewers is only
We can digress all you want. That's what
So,
the show's
so
about.
my digression here is, look, so you're taking football and you apply it to basketball. Why are all these guys staying in basketball? Because the NIL and all this kind of stuff are paying them more to stay in school. He's going to look, and what he's making with his last name being Manning is going to be way more than what he's going to make in a rookie contract coming into the NFL. So he'll sit there and do this.
No.
He won't transfer.
You don't think he go to
No,
Notre
because that money in Texas
he's
is too
setting
much.
and learning and injury-free.
And getting paid.
Injury-free.
And getting paid.
Exactly.
With oil money. He ain't going nowhere.
Now, is that family a Mississippi State family?
Mississippi.
Ole Miss.
Mississippi.
Okay.
I mean, so like
Gotcha.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
Peyton
that's
Manning
right,
was
yeah.
going to go to Ole Miss
Then-
and then ended up at Tennessee, and that was a
yeah.
big brouhaha. But he wouldn't get paid. This cat's getting paid 7 figures to sit down in Austin and do nothing.
He'll make more money in Austin than he will.
That's right.
in
He's already a
Mississippi.
celebrity. He's already getting paid. If he never takes a snap in the NFL for 4 years, he could retire.
And you know what? At the end of the year, he might even get a raise.
Touche.
Of not even playing.
That's the world we're in.
If Texas does well.
If Texas does well.
But if Texas doesn't do well, they put him in. So I'm saying he's in a win-win situation right now.
Yeah, if Quinn Ewers does not do well the first 6 games, he has
down.
Arch Manning right behind him.
All of a sudden, Steve Spurrier benches Terry Dean. You remember that name, don't you? And Danny Werfel comes in, and the rest is history. You like that, don't you?
That's a good one.
And there was no money involved with that one.
Yep.
None that we know of.
Touche, sir. Touche.
I have a take too.
Take it.
Well, then get on it. You gotta break in
It's
here.
difficult to beat him.
Listen, there's a lot of mansplaining going on around here. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get a woman-splaining.
I'm still going to go with my number one, which
Oh,
is
Lord.
number one, and you knew that was coming.
Oh, Lord.
It's still my number one. But how come nobody's talking about Jordan Travis?
Why?
I knew you were going to be the first one to comment.
I just don't. I mean, I don't see his name too far up. I mean, down that list at all. So go on. What is your thoughts?
Well, if the Seminoles have a good season, I think he's a contender.
Well, that's the thing. If they do,
Right.
so there's a lot of skepticism around that.
Well.
But then again, a lot of us at this table, I think, believe that FSU.
I think
has a
the
good
skepticism is you have seen him play like he's ready for the NFL,
Yes.
and the very next week against a lesser team look like he should not even be starting. So
Yeah.
the inconsistency, I think, is playing into his conversation. And quite frankly, at this point, as the way too early Heisman Trophy conversation is hurting him because he's been that inconsistent.
I mean, losses at Wake Forest last year hurt him really bad. But then he turns around and does amazing. I mean, the LSU game, I believe, was the first game of the season last year. Didn't start playing until the second half. So there's some of that question marks around him. If he plays 4 quarters for 12 weeks,
watch out.
The ACC.
If he mows through Clemson, he mows through North Carolina, all of a sudden he's the conversation a few weeks down the road.
And it depends upon how many yards he's able to put up. There's a running game at Florida State as well. But he has an arm like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, but part of the attack. So
Yeah. And well, you're supposed to say it loudly so that we know.
We need to move on.
Okay, thank you. That's it. But
thanks for
We're a little rusty, man. We got to get on with it.
We're missing Brookie DC because he was like perfect at these little.
No, Brookie
transitions,
DC abandoned us, so you know what? He can sit himself up and
It gave me time to get a drink. Thanks, everybody.
Why is nobody mentioning Bo Nix? I want to have that conversation.
Because Bo Nix has had 47 years to
No,
get it done,
he
and
is
he's not got it done yet.
Isn't he eligible for Social Security?
Look, so here's what I go. So here's what I go with Bo Nix, and I've had this conversation with folks. Bo Nix has now been in college longer than Stetson Bennett. Did Stetson Bennett win the Heisman? He won a national championship. He is now the Stetson Bennett. I'm sorry. He is not going to be in this conversation.
Okay, well said. That's a good point. So
I mean, he's
even though
38 years old or whatever he is right now. He's older than me.
Yes.
So,
we've seen
Well,
him
you're
going.
older than 38.
We've seen him going through puberty.
We just talked about how your daughter's going to college tomorrow. Let's move on from the Bills Knicks.
Why is no one talking about Will Rogers down at Mississippi State?
they've never done anything for 30 years.
Okay, I'm going to give you one answer.
Hold on. This guy is an insane talent.
I'm going to give you one answer to that question. Lane Kiffin.
But he's in Mississippi?
In Mississippi State.
Oh, excuse me, Mississippi State. My bad.
That still may be Lane Kiffin. Everybody's thinking about Ole Miss.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody's thinking about Ole Miss. They've forgotten about them down there.
They do have a good quarterback on the
Guys,
Ole Miss team.
guys, here's the thing. You're not wrong. When it comes to the Heisman, as time has gone on, it's not been about the best player in college football, because if it were, you would have some defensive players that would have won it by now. You would have been having some guys who played on lesser teams that would have won it by now.
Your team has
you
to
would have
be a
had some
contender.
group of 5 guys, like Steve McNair types, that would have won it by now. It's a dog and pony show. And so if you're not playing on one of these high-profile teams where you're getting on TV every week, you're not mentioned on ESPN every week, you're not going to win it, right or wrong. And Mississippi State, in the world of the SEC, is a mid-major team in the SEC.
They're expected to win 5.5 games.
I was going to say,
this season,
there'll be a successful season for them is bowl eligible 7-5.
They would, yes, if they beat Mississippi, if they beat LSU, if they start beating Alabama, then all of a sudden he's a late riser into the conversation, kind of like LSU's quarterback was last year.
So if Will Rogers went to play
at Alabama, he's in the conversation right now.
Gotcha. And there was a team built around him. right now there's a brand new coach at Mississippi State. They're not having a good season. And then Spencer Rattler at South Carolina had a great last 3 weeks of the season last year.
Cheeks, tell us why you're saying no.
Well, first of all, he's got USC surrounding him. I think
They have a Heisman Trophy winner, by the way.
That doesn't matter. He's not playing with that team.
1983.
Yeah, that was he wasn't even born yet.
Okay.
He wasn't a squirt like that.
Yeah, no.
If South
That's exactly
Carolina
right.
is the big surprise breakout in the SEC this year, Rattler might get an honorable mention.
That's a Georgia fan leaves the room.
Okay.
But do you think that's really going to happen?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is they're going to have to shock the world. And if Spencer Rattler's, I mean, I was at the Tennessee game last year, 63 points.
My ticket.
Oh. Yes, it was your ticket. And I gladly took it.
Yes, sir.
But, I mean, his passes were on point, on the spot, open guy every time. If you look at his last 4 games of the season, when they made some, quote, changes, quote, unquote, non-changes, things happen. When they opened up the offense, Spencer Rattler came to play. If they're going to keep that offense open, we have enough talent in South Carolina.
But it's a different schedule this year.
It is, of course,
And
it's
the
different.
hardest
Here's the thing.
Again,
Yeah.
all that is opportunity.
So-
I'm not going to write them off. If they're a 10-2 team,
Are you
Spencer,
his manager?
Spencer Rattler is in the
No,
conversation.
Spencer Rattler's a sleeper, and here's the thing: no one, whether it be Oklahoma, whether it be South Carolina, has questioned his ability to play the game. They question what he has between the ears.
Yeah.
If he can keep his head on straight, he has the talent to win games he shouldn't and win the games he should. And so if we get 9-10 games, kind of like some of the other guys, such as Bo Nix, such as Will Rogers, we get 8, 9, 10 games into the year, and here we are. They're 10-1, they're 11-0. They will come in, but from the front, will they be in the conversation? No, but guess what? When it comes to the Heisman and the Dog and Pony Show, you don't want to be there week 1. You want to be there week 12.
So
Drake May and Spencer Rattler,
Very similar conversation.
week 1, they're fighting it out.
Spencer Rattler is running for his life the entire season. His offensive line is not up to par with SEC standards. And
They did well recruiting. We will see.
He's going to be running for his freaking life all season.
Where was
That's
Caleb
all I
last
see.
year? Where was Caleb last year in the first week?
Playing in a trash conference with trash wins, and then he
Yeah,
paints
where
his
was he
fingernails.
rated? Where
He
was he
paints his
rated?
fingernails and wins the Heisman. So
All right, we have got to move on. We're gonna do listener questions now, and the way that we're gonna do this is it's just me. I'm gonna answer. Whoever raises their hand first
Gets
gets
to
to answer the question because we gotta blow through these fast.
Is this like
Okay?
a Jeopardy? Is this a Jeopardy speed run?
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to
And-
answer it with a question?
No, you don't have to answer with a question. Jesus Christ! All right,
Said Jeopardy.
I got Peyton, and this person asked. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. That's kind of like one of those names that goes both ways, right? And in the near future, will we see Kentucky playing for a slot in the playoffs?
We talking basketball?
Who's your daddy?
Maybe in basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm actually going to answer the question for basketball and football. No.
Not football.
It's not. It's no to both.
All right, so next season we
Was
start the
that
12 team.
incognito Jen or her sister that asked that question?
I don't know.
I was wondering the same thing. As soon as I saw that, I thought,
the
is
blonde
that the
definitely
blonde?
tossed that one in
I think the
there.
Yeah.
blonde paid someone
The
to do
blonde or
that.
Allie threw that one out there
Yeah.
under a
All
pseudo
right,
name.
Dan asks, how can regionalism be preserved in college football?
They can't.
They can't.
Man.
They can't.
Take the money away.
I think that question.
As a former educator, follow directions. Raise your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Raise your hand. But that was a good answer. All right.
I just
next
was like
one.
in
Hang on a
second
second.
grade.
If we can go back to that one, I think that question deserves just a tad more conversation.
Do you think
Because
so?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
I'll allow this then.
So
Go.
I believe that it's getting out of control, and it's going to kill the sport if they don't do something about it soon.
Yeah.
The bad thing about it is the NCAA knows that they're helpless right now, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Who's your daddy?
I agree with everything he just said, but we have no control over it. It's all about the money. All
All
about the money.
Benjamins. All right. Is that enough time spent on there?
Okay.
What I was going to
my
my real quick with this one was, what's the basketball summer league? AAU. AAU used to be the governing body of college athletics way back when, and they became irrelevant. The NCAA is about to become AAU. They're about to expand. They're going to do their own TV contracts, and they're about to stick it to the NCAA. And the NCAA you will never hear about again.
But we've been talking about this since the SEC network gave ESPN SEC network gave SEC a contract. The NCAA is absolutely becoming
irrelevant.
Well, the NCAA sticks its head in the sand every time there is an issue they could chime in on.
When they started paying players, they lost all leverage. They were irrelevant.
But they were the ones that caused it. The players were literally broke, and some of them were getting in trouble.
No, the issue was they put the guardrails on too hard.
Right.
I know several athletes that don't want to go to college, not in football so much, don't want to go to college to play sports because they just don't want to deal with the NCAA.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your daddy? Last word.
Yeah, all they're doing, the NCAA, is governing recruiting violations. Look at Michigan. You know, they're in a battle with Jim Harbaugh over what this penalty is.
Yeah.
You know, and as stated earlier, the NIL money took the NCAA out of the equation.
Gotcha.
They're just battling
They are
irregularities.
trying to remain relevant, and that's why they're making a stink. And within 3 to 5, the NCAA will be completely irrelevant.
Agreed.
All right. So
In revenue generating sports, I think the NCAA will stay relevant.
No, I think they're going to start.
Non-rev.
I think they're going to start regulating themselves and go. Well, you know what? If you don't want to live by our rules, you can stick it. We'll make our own bowl games over here. We'll make our own national championships.
What he's saying is,
Gotcha.
Men's soccer, women's soccer.
Because my thing is this, guys. At the end of the day, in NCAA, what are the big NCAA violations? Paying players. Well, now if you can pay players, what are you regulating? What are you regulating?
Recruiting violations.
But I'm saying that even with recruiting, if you can pay them, what is your violation?
I know.
That they have no relevance anymore. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. So on that task right there, we got Thomas, and he asks, basically, should affiliation of the conferences be based upon the sport then? So for
It already isn't. It already isn't.
Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame.
Like Notre Dame.
Well, that's true.
No, it's already not. So to his point being is, for example, and I'm going to go to a very much lesser sport that nobody gives a damn about, right? Women's soccer. Florida, your bread and butter. Women's soccer plays in Conference USA. Why? Because the SEC does not have a women's soccer conference, because not all the teams have it. So they already have that. It just doesn't apply to the more money-making type of sports.
Gotcha. Okay, so why isn't South Carolina in the top 25?
They will be after they beat UNC.
Okay, that's the next on.
And they will not be when they lose.
And then Constance asks, how old will the legend be when he finally sees Tennessee win a national championship? He's 3 years old right now. How old will he be?
27. Thank you, Sam.
I don't know how we're going to track that.
Sorry, legends.
So how are we going to track it? It's going to be around that long. We're going to be around that long.
We'll actually bring this up in 27 years.
I had this conversation with her.
24 years.
It's going to be close
He's
for
3.
me.
I had this conversation with her.
Coaches, people, moving
Wait a
forward.
minute, no, he just asked this. There's so much money in Knoxville, 10 years or less.
All right, there we go. 10
13,
years
he'll be
Wow.
13 or less.
There's
All
no more
right.
money in Knoxville than there
We'll
is
be in
in
middle
the
school.
Moving
We'll be
on.
happy.
That's
Moving
not
on.
true.
Coaches AP
It's
poll,
a
or
joke.
coaches and AP poll came out. Coaches came out last week. AP poll came out this week.
Yo, this is what I've been waiting for.
What we've always said on this show, I think from season 1, is that the preseason
Does
AP
not matter.
Does not matter. But which of these teams, Iowa, Tulane, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, I'm just going down from 25 on, right? Which of those teams is dropping out of there almost immediately because half of them are out after the
Notre Dame.
You think Notre Dame's
Okay,
gone?
let's talk about this.
All right. What are your thoughts on that? Besides the top 10, what are your thoughts?
We just talked about, now they have a premier quarterback. They have a premier line. They have, I'm not going to call
you're
it,
calling this guy a Heisman Trophy winner.
I'm not
And
going to
he's gonna
say
be
that they're premier wide receivers, but they are above average. We're talking
well above average.
3.5 to 4-star, in some cases 5-star. I'm telling you right now, I got a feeling. I got a Lou Holtz feeling we're going on right now. Okay? And I think that.
Are you singing Journey right now?
I got a feeling.
I know. I was thinking of
That's
Black Eyed
tonight's gonna
Peas.
be
The Black Eyed
I think
Peas,
that's
sorry.
a Black Eyed Peas.
I don't think Journey sung a song about.
Don't Stop Believing.
But that wasn't
There you
feelings,
go.
okay?
All right,
Ooga shot.
Utah is dropping when they lose to Florida, week 1. Just so you all know.
Here's my take with Notre Dame.
Okay, Notre Dame.
Hartman's going to put up some points. As Brewster said, he's got above average skill around him. In football, there are two sides of the ball, and their defense is trash. So when they win, they're going to win 50-45. They're going to win 42-35.
Wait a second. Are they playing in the ACC that's below average?
And their defense is good enough.
There's not an ACC team right now that's going to score above 40
Hold
points
on.
on
This is Notre Dame. This is going to be. They're not in a conference.
No, Hartman will have great stats. Their outcomes will not be that good.
50% of their games are in the ACC.
But they do have 3 teams that are going to be solid teams that they're playing.
Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, and North Carolina State will give them all they want.
North Carolina State's not going to be in the running this year.
North Carolina State is not going to be in the running this year?
Correct.
Yeah, I have no hope for them at all. I mean, not that I hope.
Their average points per game last year was 17.
17? Alright. Yeah, I mean, I don't see that. So last season, Wisconsin was like 5-7 or something like that, and they are ranked. They had
19.
a dismal season, right? And then now they're ranked number 19. I don't see that staying around very long either.
Coaches poll, they're 21.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that.
I'm
staying
thinking
long.
Wisconsin's the sleeper in the Big Ten West.
New coach.
Okay.
And I understand they're pushing a passing game, which if Wisconsin goes to a passing game,
They're all washed out.
I've got a prediction, and I could be wrong, and y'all can drink me under the table laughing later. This will be the year that a group of 5 team gets into the Final Four conversation.
Again?
Again. And you know, one of the 2 teams will be. Because I pay attention to this. Y'all don't, I do.
All right. App State.
No. Our quarterback, we don't know what we got. It will be Tulane or UTSA.
Well, Tulane is up there at ranked number
Or
24
UTSA will be in the conversation.
Okay.
To support,
Why do you say UTSA? Because they had a good season
They have
last
quietly put something down there. That school has 32,000 students. It's not that less small than South Carolina.
Okay.
Yes, I paid more attention than usual.
But yes, they're
So
not.
are you putting them in your Final Four?
No.
UTSA is not there yet. But I
and
will
what
say,
conference do they play in?
American.
but I will say that Tulane put up some fun games last year.
They did.
So let me put it like this: will they make the Final Four this year? I said no. I won't make that, but I'm putting money on that. They'll be in the conversation when they expand it. Yes, will they be there for that?
Can
Yes.
you remind me what their mascot is?
That's the Green Wave.
No, not Tulane. UTSA.
Roadrunner.
The Roadrunners. I love
Cool.
Y'all
cool.
bust
Hey,
my
you
balls.
guys
Oh yeah.
We'll have this
UTSA,
conversation later.
Roadrunners, Yeah.
So you guys all made fun of TCU.
They were in
this early
a
on last
December
year.
22nd
the
bowl
Horned
game
Frog?
last year. I believe.
Yeah, we made fun of them.
So in the Big 12, Texas, Kansas State, Oklahoma are expected to have relatively good seasons, right? Maybe 1 or 2 other teams as well.
TCU?
But TCU.
Oklahoma's gonna be terrible.
TCU lost,
They lost
at
almost-
least 2/3 of the people that were on that team
Correct.
last season. They're not going to be a contender.
They lost their offensive coordinator.
They went 1-11 2 seasons ago. They went 12-0 last season.
I don't
They're
think it's
probably
gonna
going to be 5-7 this season.
I'm
That's
actually
the
going
only
to say
reason
they're
they're
going to be bowl
ranked
eligible. Their coach is still a good coach.
So you think 6 and the coach
Who,
is still a good
Oklahoma?
coach. Okay.
No.
No, TCU.
But losing your
Yeah.
quarterback and your offensive coordinator is a huge blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would also just say that out of those names that you just said, Kansas State is actually the most balanced team that comes out of the Big 12. So don't be surprised if they're a 10-2 team. Don't think they'll be a contender, but they're strong on defense. They got a strong running game, and they got a really decent passing game.
Yeah, where's Ripper?
And
talking about
Martinez is still there.
K-State?
That Adrian Martinez that came from Nebraska down there, I think he's still the quarterback as well.
I'm going to digress for a second. What's
7th year or
crazy?
something like
What's
that.
crazy with all that's going on this year? I really can't keep track of which teams are in which conference, and it's just moved all the frick around.
Oh yeah, UCF can disrupt things in the Big 12.
In the Big 12, because UCF,
Yeah.
Houston, and Memphis.
Yeah.
So what is the coaching situation in UCF?
UCF, they have that coach that got fired from Auburn 2 years ago. What's his name?
Where's Chopper?
Mizell.
Not
Mizell. That's Blythewood's AD.
Anyway.
Yes, the guy who won a national championship with Cam Newton.
Yeah, so no, So that being said, like
illegally.
He's a good coach. He knows what he's doing.
Again, paid the players and won a national championship.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the top 10 now. All
right. Who's the conference to beat this year?
SEC every year.
SEC's every year.
Jeez.
Jesus, man.
So you going to top 10?
So yeah, top 10. So I'm looking
who
at
shouldn't
this,
be
right?
there?
No, all of them I think legitimately could be there.
No, there's two teams that
except
shouldn't.
Except for Clemson.
There's two teams should not be in the top 10.
USC?
USC and Washington.
I disagree.
So the Pac-12 is
I disagree.
dog crap.
Well, here's the problem. They're still recognized. One of those teams is going to rise to the top like cream does. So I do believe that USC will rise to the top.
Yes, I do too.
Here's the other bad part about that is probably USC is going to be in a situation where, because the Pac-12 is so depleted, that they're going to be in that top 4 conversation. If they're a top 4 team in that 4, they will. It'll be all whatever the spread is. All my money is on the other team.
So the best team in the Pac-12 right now is expected to win 9.5 games. That's going to be USC
and Oregon,
Utah, and Washington. All 3 of those teams are expected to have 9.5 wins.
And they're all leaving the conference.
Yeah. So that being said, though, Washington has Michael Penix Jr. He was the second best quarterback in the country last season, behind someone from like South Dakota, something like that. So
Indiana transfer.
Yeah. So this guy can put up yards. He put up 4,600 yards passing last season. He's definitely a legitimate Heisman candidate, and he has the team around them to make it happen.
There is zero chance.
On offense.
There's zero chance. Let me back up. There should be zero chance that a 0-loss Pac-12, 10, 8, what hell ever they are, gets into the Final Four over a 1-loss SEC school.
Even if they go undefeated.
They should not be there.
But even if Washington went undefeated, they are playing a weak schedule.
Yep.
No, they're out of conference games that they're playing. Nothing comes.
Hello, Georgia.
I would allow them.
Thank you very much. Who's your daddy? That's a great.
You want me to tell you how bad I really think it is on the West Coast, and no cheeks, no offense intended.
Well, I only have 1 more year.
What is
I'm
no
no
You
longer on
can
the West
take
Coast.
the Pac-12 and let them all play North Dakota State, and North Dakota State goes 500.
All right, so Washington is not
North
supposed to be
Dakota
there.
State beats Washington.
Yeah, that's probably true because North Dakota State. I don't think that's the case.
No, it's
let's move on to somebody else.
Let's
So
move
there's
on.
a couple
All
other
right,
teams in there.
We
that-
have Georgia at number 1.
Wait a second. So you said which top 10 teams shouldn't be in there?
Should not be there.
And
Who's dropping out first?
Penn State.
No, I got him in my final four.
Penn
agree
State
with
is
you.
not going
I'm
anywhere
not a
in
fan
that.
of Penn State.
Penn State is gonna lose 3
Penn
games
State
this year.
wins that
Who
conference.
does Penn State play first and second week?
I have no
Penn
idea. but I
State
can
is
tell
not
you
going
right-
anywhere until week 8 at best.
And they're not leaving there because they
And
win
they're
the
not
whole
leaving
thing.
then.
They're my final
going to
four.
beat
They're-
Michigan.
They're not
possibly
They're
beat
not
Michigan.
going to beat Michigan.
McCarthy is not that good.
They're not going to be.
That's
they're
that's
not
full
gonna
of
be,
crap. He's good.
No, dude, he's not that good.
Hey, raise your hand.
Penn State has Penn State is going to have the number 1 defense in the country at the end of the season, most likely outside of Georgia.
Look,
right?
McCarthy is not that good. You want to tell you why McCarthy looked that good? Because Ohio State's safeties are that trash. That's
right.
why he looked that good.
So Penn State is going to drop at some
No, they win the conference.
Good luck.
They're playing West Virginia the first week.
I don't go that far.
Penn State is going to be a 9-3 team. They'll be number
Oh,
12
for
by the end of the
fuck's
season.
sake.
They're not a top 10 team.
Okay.
And you all say it, but every year
9-3. Who else do they lose to besides Ohio
They
State?
always screw
They
up.
always
one game.
screw
They
up.
always screw up. This is the Penn State team that we know.
Rutgers.
And how do we know their coach? Oh, that's right. He was at Vanderbilt. Yes, he did amazing things at Vanderbilt, but he doesn't still know how to win the big game. I love their coach. I would love their coach to go to Syracuse.
Franklin is a good coach.
He's a great coach, but he screws up the big games or the consistency of the season.
They win the conference.
They're going to lose to Michigan, too.
You are out of your mind.
And maybe Michigan State.
Yeah.
The,
There's a good chance of that too.
The only there's almost zero question marks at Michigan right now.
No, there's a ton for people who
gotta
don't
be
live in a
kidding
state.
me. Okay, so
Why are you yelling?
JJ
Careful.
McCarthy
Careful.
at
Our hosts are
JJ
there.
McCarthy at
I don't
quarterback
care.
is freaking is a great
Not
quarterback.
that
Blake
good.
Corum.
Let me explain something. If Ohio State just keeps doing what they were doing in the first 10 minutes of that game, they don't beat them last year. But all of a sudden, their safeties decided we're going to go sit up in the stands and drink beer, and he recognized it.
Michigan's going to have 2 running backs going to run 1,000 yards this season.
We'll have this conversation.
And
in
they
10
have
weeks.
receivers that can catch the ball.
We will have this conversation.
And their
in 10 weeks.
defense is going to
McCarthy
be
is
probably
not
in the
that
top
good.
5 in the country.
Within 4 weeks, he will not be in the Heisman conversation because he is
He
not
doesn't
that good.
He doesn't need to be in the Heisman conversation. All he needs to do is not make mistakes.
Yes.
He's not that good.
Okay.
Michigan is going to.
Okay.
I think Michigan's going to win the national championship this year.
Oh, good God.
Do you want to bet on that now?
No,
You want to put a way too early bet on that?
I'll bet you a beer.
Okay,
Yeah,
touche.
I'll bet you a
Put
beer.
a bet a beer.
Put a
All
beer
right.
out.
I'll put a beer on that because this
Don't
is
be a train
Michigan's
payout.
year. All the pieces are put together right now based upon what I've been seeing.
Not
Do
that
you
good.
have to name who's going to win instead?
No, he just said Michigan. Michigan won.
Okay, so
Georgia.
Moving
Georgia. So I guess everybody at this table thinks
easiest.
Georgia's going to win the national championship.
Hang on a second.
Except for who's your
I
dad.
didn't say
Not
that.
so fast.
And my man over there.
Hang on. Who's your daddy was first? Go ahead. Who's your daddy?
What's that?
Georgia's 2. All right.
You don't think Georgia's going to win the national championship?
No, I don't think so.
You want to get on my podcast? Come on and tell me, man.
I think their schedule's going to hurt them down at the end of the road. Georgia.
Georgia lost their quarterback. They lost a lot of their offensive line, and they lost a couple defensive players.
So my man says that Alabama's going to be number 1.
The national
We'll
champion.
talk about this after the show's over.
Alabama just picked up a 5-star quarterback too. They picked up another 5-star quarterback.
Which they
Gotcha.
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy? Hit me, man.
I don't think Georgia will win it. I think their schedule's going to hurt them at the end of the year. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know who to pick for number 1.
I do.
So
To be honest.
my
I don't think Michigan will win it.
Nope.
But I think the sleeper team that I'm
LSU.
picking, and you're going to not agree with me, is Texas.
No.
I think
Okay.
this is the year Texas is going to move
Yeah.
on.
So that being said, so my skepticism on Georgia is they don't have a Jordan Davis. They don't have
Stetson Bennett. Quit degrading that man.
Oh Jesus Christ! No, so
Don't bring the JC into this conversation.
they don't have a Jordan Davis. They don't have a Jalen.
Politics, no religion.
They don't have a Jalen Carter this season. Their defense does not have. They have a great defense by all means. They don't have those stand-up players though that they had last year or the year before that.
I wanna open
on
up myself.
offense, same thing, right?
I'm going right now online. Ohio State. This is not in any order.
All right, so
Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and Texas are my top 4.
that is not what you said at the end of last season. Last season you said Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, USC.
I know, and I changed my mind.
So what is it going to be now? What did you just
Well,
say?
got us all
hold
in
up. You got to recognize
Ah.
this Final Four crap could match them screwed up.
And all
right?
of this transfer portal stuff that's
So,
going on.
my final 2 is this.
Final 2.
LSU.
Yep, that's who I.
And then my
I
2
agree.
are Florida State or Penn State that play against LSU for the national championship.
All right,
I
so
think LSU is definitely top
we're
four this
getting
year.
way ahead of ourselves because I'm going to ask this question at last call. But we can talk about it now if we want to then. Rooster, hit me, bro.
No, I was just going to say, in the years past, we've had to talk about this, like I talked about earlier. If USC is 11-1, they're in the playoffs, and that's going to disrupt everything. SEC championship game matters, and that's going to disrupt everything.
Then they lose in the first round.
And Big Ten championship game.
At least they went to the
all
game.
those things matter. So to say that there's going to be that many teams from the SEC going that are going to be in the playoffs may not happen this year because I think that Notre Dame takes the 4 spot.
Oh, Lord.
So are you saying, hold on, are you saying that last season you were wrong when you said Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, and Michigan were going to be in? Because that's 2 SEC teams.
No.
But you must have been drunk when you said that in February.
Who was my team, Ray?
Hang on a second.
Alabama, Georgia, FSU, and Penn State.
I'm at least consistent.
At least you're consistent.
So here's where we're at, and well, if you recall, Notre Dame didn't have the quarterback from Wake Forest.
Okay,
so the portal changes everything. Okay, again. So now Clemson's out. Notre
Wake
Dame's in.
Forest can't play defense. Notre Dame can't play defense.
Notre Dame was actually top 5 team against top 12.
When was that?
Top 12 defense against Power 5 teams last
year.
So you're a Notre Dame believer this season.
And I hate Notre
Number
Dame.
4.
Okay, I hate Notre Dame. I'm going on the record to say it. I just think they're going to put it together this year, and their schedule is going to allow for it. That's all I'm saying. So they're going to be number 4. I don't disagree with LSU, but it's going to be LSU/Alabama because whoever wins that game is going to be the one that's in it. I think Notre Dame is going to disrupt the FSU flow, so I don't think FSU is going to make it in. It's going to be Georgia in the number 2.
Okay, and then who else?
They're going to screw up like they always do and put a Michigan as number 1.
Michigan. Okay. Well, okay. I thought you said Penn State was going to beat Michigan.
No, I did.
No, he did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe that Penn State's going to be 9-3 because I believe Franklin can't handle the big game situations, especially on the road.
Gotcha. Okay.
He thinks Minnesota's going to beat him. That's what he gets to.
Here we go.
What the fuck?
Last year, Minnesota was a
Got
spoiler.
that.
All right.
What
Chief,
the fuck?
Chief,
Do
you're
you even know what the fuck is?
Okay.
Well,
What
you
the
were with us
fuck
last year.
is part of the show
Yeah.
where I say, what the fuck, and you have to come up with some what the fuck moment of sports last season. Or this season, or whenever. It
I
could
got
be
a what the
anything.
fuck.
What the
Mine
fuck?
too.
Here's an example.
I
Here's
got
an
a feeling
example.
mine and yours are the same.
What
I
the
got a
fuck?
feeling.
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy's what the fuck is Anthony Richardson. Everybody was so down on him last year.
Even I was on the Florida
yes, you
fan
were,
here.
Hanger, you were. And now he goes to the Colts. They draft him, and who's going to be the starting quarterback?
Anthony Richardson, AR-15,
competing
baby.
again.
Starting
Honestly,
quarterback.
that doesn't
What the
make him a
fuck,
good
Anthony
team.
Richardson?
I got mine.
I think it'll be fun to watch him play in the NFL.
Oh,
he
Lord.
might get injured because he's apt to run. What the fuck?
My what the fuck
Oh
is
no, I
this?
want to go before you.
Go ahead, I'll
What the
let ladies
fuck,
first.
Cheeks?
For crying out loud.
And if it's the same, I'll build off it. By the
I
way,
know
guys,
it's gonna be
by
the
the
same.
way, we don't know before we get here.
Go ahead,
So go
Chief.
ahead.
Ryan, I have a feeling though.
Go ahead, Cheeks.
We might have something similar.
Maybe.
So there was a gentleman who came out the day before yesterday and commented on the schedule this year, and he said, "We're playing 3 Super Bowls this season. We're playing the Chiefs in December. We're playing the Chiefs in January. We're playing the Eagles in February." This is Joe Burrows.
Well, that's because he's going to beat them all.
I don't think he's going to beat the Eagles.
What the fuck, Rebel?
Oh, what the fuck is this? And I know this probably is kind of a hot topic.
Oh God.
Michael Orr. Let me explain something. I agree. He should get royalties off the movie. It's his life. It's his name. He does everything. But for him to throw his pseudo parents, whether it was conservatory or adopted, under the bus, without them, he's probably in a ditch somewhere
He would have been
on
dead.
drugs. He made it to the NFL because of the things they expressed to him.
Yep.
Now, again, should he have gotten something off of the movie? Thank you.
We're on it.
Yes, he should have. But to completely disown the people that got him to where he is in life, what the fuck?
Real good one.
All right. So here's going to be my what the fuck, okay? And it's going to be this. Dabo Sweeney said that he thinks that they will be kicking field goals from 70 yards this season
Oh.
behind the leg of a dude named Robert Gunn.
Yeah.
What the
Good
fuck?
No, I don't think it's crazy. If the line can keep the hands down of a 6'5" guy, that's where we are. My projection was within the next 10 to 20 years they will extend the field because you'll be kicking off the goal line. I mean that's athleticism has grown. It's like basketball. I say they're going to move the 3-point line. They're going to raise the basket to 12 feet because athletes are not what they were 30 years ago.
Okay.
But if you're talking about kicking field goals, you can't get in the end zone? Come on, Clemson.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's the greatest comment of the night right
They
there.
can only get halfway down the field, so that's what it is. All right. Chief, I will give you a pass if you need me to this
I
week.
need a pass. I wasn't.
You weren't ready for the what the fuck.
I didn't know.
That's
All right.
fine.
So,
what the fuck, Rooster?
We've been talking about football the entire time. It's starting to become, I'm not going to say end of summer because it's been 100 degrees this week, but
What the fuck,
We have
right?
a whole another month.
you
of summer.
know I'm from upstate New York. I'm going to say, what the fuck? Major League Baseball teams from New York, the Mets and the Yankees are terrible. They've got the largest
Highest
Go
paid
Bars!
payroll.
paid
Oh my
payrolls. They're
God.
paying out the wazoo.
Go Bars!
And they are terrible. Yeah, I know you're saying go Barbs because your Red Sox are also in the basement. Okay, so
They would be leading the division in two
Well-
other divisions.
no, they wouldn't be.
And the Phillies threw a
Go ahead, look it
no-hitter, and then they followed it up with a huge win over the Twins, and then the Twins spanked them back,
What
spanked
the
them.
fuck, Twins?
And I'm
What
just
the fuck,
saying,
New York
what the
teams?
fuck, New York City Major League Baseball teams, get your poo-poo together.
They're not
Get
the boys
your
of summer.
tail
That's for
together.
sure.
Right now, they would be tied
What
in
the
the
fuck?
Central with the,
All right.
with the Indians. I ain't even saying Guardians. That's disgusting. One, not two. One.
We're gonna do the last call segment really
One, not
fast, and I'm gonna call out your picks from last season, and tell me if they're on. So mine were FSU, Tennessee, Alabama, and Michigan. Okay, this season I don't think it's gonna be that. I think it's gonna be FSU, LSU, Michigan, and Texas. Okay,
That's your
Cheeks.
Final Four?
That FSU, LSU,
Have
Michigan,
another, Ray.
and Texas.
Have another. Ray.
Mark my words. I'll put $100 on it.
Texas too.
No, you will put $100 on that Final
I'm
Four?
just kidding. I will not.
Because I will make that bet right now.
You might need some more Venmo guys at the bar.
Please send me money to help with this.
Because you got a lot of takers on that one.
Cheeks. Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, USC.
Not bad, Cheeks.
You still okay with that?
No,
Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, USC. She had Notre Dame in there. You see that, right?
I actually
must
had a
have
bunch
knew.
of good calls last year.
Yeah. So what is it going to be this?
I'm going to replace Notre Dame with LSU.
LSU.
I thought you were going to replace Alabama with LSU, then I'd be on board.
All right.
Not quite there.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and USC.
No, I replaced two of them.
Who are you replacing?
Taking out Alabama, putting in. I have Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Texas.
Lord.
Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State. Are you just doing that to back
Big
up
Ten's
your
trash.
And who else?
Hey, his name is Who's Your Daddy. He's a
Georgia,
Big Ten guy.
Hoosier with,
Ohio
Hoosier
State.
with two O's.
Who's your fourth?
Texas.
Texas. Okay.
See, everybody down here hates the Big Ten, so I
Because
just
they're
thought-
trash.
I just thought, well, we'll see at the end of the year.
In basketball, they're fantastic.
Trash.
All right, Ripper. We're gonna stick with his. It's Oregon. Yeah, right. Tennessee, OSU, Clemson. Clemson's not going nowhere either. Chopper.
I don't know. Clemson just picked up
It doesn't matter.
Riley.
Rooster. What's it gonna be?
They're kicking field goals.
Rooster, you had Clemson, Georgia, Alabama,
70
Michigan.
yards.
Who's it gonna be?
Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan. I'm going to change out Clemson with Notre Dame. I'm changing out Alabama with LSU.
That's a couple of good
No.
switches there.
What? Yeah.
So then you got
I like
Georgia
it.
and Michigan also? All right, and Rebel. You said Alabama, Georgia, FSU, and Penn State are good, right? All right, so that, my friends, is a wrap for Season 4, Episode 1.
We didn't pick our Super Bowl.
Real quick, Super Bowl picks.
Super Bowl picks!
Yeah.
2 seconds. Who you got?
Bonus round, Super Bowl picks. All right. I know my woman Cheeks over here is going to say the Patriots, right?
Yeah, that's it. No.
Real quick.
I'm going to say the Bengals and the Eagles.
I'm good with this. Who's
Bengals
your
and
daddy?
Eagles. All right. Who's your daddy?
Pass for me right now.
Rooster.
I'm going with some dark horses here. Dolphins, Eagles.
Dolphins, Eagles.
I agree with half of it.
Really? Why do you say Dolphins?
Look, if Tua can stay
Stay
productive,
healthy, that's a big
I'm
piece.
telling you right now, when he played the game last year, they still got the same team they had last year. They improved a little bit.
All right.
I would be surprised
If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy, the Miami Dolphins are gonna be in the conversation.
Rebel.
Assuming health, the Bungles will be there, and then they will either play the Eagles or the Detroit Lions.
I love it.
You and Michael Graves are the only people who root for the Lions.
God dang it, Chief. Who's it going to be in the
Bengals and the 49ers.
Bengals and the
They get a quarterback. That's okay.
I'm going Bengals and the Eagles. That sounds like a good spot.
And I'm bouncing off Chiefs. 49ers will win the Super Bowl.
Who will be the quarterback?
Against the
Raiders.
The guy with Tommy John surgery.
So luckily we got
Purdy's going to get him there.
Purdy is going to be the quarterback.
If he does, if Purdy is who beats the Bengals, I'm okay with it.
MVP in the Super Bowl.
Fair enough.
You heard it.
Luckily, we got to the end of this show without any fighting. My man over here, the Rebel, even though he's been here since 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he was not screwing around. He did a good job, my man.
Good job, Rebel.
I appreciate that.
Missed your middle button, but otherwise you're
Thank
great.
you all for joining us.
I did.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank everybody for listening. Subscribe to the
This
show.
dude's a fashionista over here.
Keep on coming out and listening to some more guys at the bar talking
Sports.
Y'all know the name of the show. It's Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. And what do guys do when they talk sports at the bar? They drink beer. So if you want to buy us a beer, you can Venmo us. The Venmo is at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.